Good afternoon and welcome to the Fredericton Chamber of Commerce Lunch and Learn webinar series. Today's topic is Small Business Technology Trends, Helping You Save Time, and it's being brought to you today with the support of our sponsor, the University of Fredericton. I'm Krista Ross. I'm CEO at the Fredericton Chamber of Commerce, and I'm very pleased to introduce our presenters today. Robin Vino, Senior Manager at Rogers Enterprise Business Unit. Robin manages teams and works directly with clients in advanced telecom, intelligent communities, and ICT solutions design and deployment. He's a technology and sales leader with nearly 20 years experience. His education was focused on technology with studies in computer science at Dalhousie University, along with various IT certifications at local technical colleges. With a broad work experience of several Fortune 500 companies, along with VP roles at several Atlantic Canadian companies, Robin has the experience of leading sub-$20 million companies and running $150+ million business units, and all of the telecom, collaboration, and information technology tools required to operate them. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, please join me in welcoming Robin Vino.
Hi, thanks everyone, and thank you for that introduction. As you will see in the bottom, there's a chat window. I hope that anybody that is joining or that will join, if they have any questions, please feel free to send them through to the chat or to the chamber afterwards if they come up, and they will cycle them through to me, and I'll do my best to help you out. So to get into this here, really what I want to talk to today is kind of at a high level some of the trends we're seeing in the overall technology industry as it relates to telecom and information technology, as the two are kind of converging or have converged, and most people just don't realize it. It's becoming, challenging for any business, whether you're large or small, to keep up with what is trending. And again, the goal today is to simply share with you some of the top trends, whether you're a company of one employee or if you're a company with 20, 50, or 1,000. There might be a couple of little trends in here that you might be able to dig into and see if it makes sense for you and your company. So one of the largest trends that we're seeing, and this isn't necessarily a new trend, but it's starting to become so accessible for any size business. It used to be kind of in the middle-sized businesses and large businesses to be able to kind of buy IT as they need it or buy consulting as they need it. But one of the largest technology trends is in the technology infrastructure and infrastructure management side itself, and being able to subscribe to an IT service kind of on a per drip model. So you pay for what you need, and you don't have to do the old model of buy a bunch of equipment, regardless if you're one employee or 100. There's lots of good books. B4B is kind of from J.B. Wood is a good book if anybody's into reading about what the trend is in serving customers. It may actually affect how you look in your service models as a business and what you want to bring out to clientele and make it easier for them to consume your product or service. But the old model of make, ship, sell, or make, sell, ship has kind of moved on. And businesses want the flexibility to be able to turn on something today, and then in 2 months, if that project is working or not working, they want to be able to turn it off. And another big thing that's pushing IT as a service or these as a service models are our accounting friends. It's really easy to forecast your cost as a small business, medium, or enterprise company if you can start to associate costs per employee. And a lot of services now are looking to present to you, the consumer, services on that subscription basis, so you can associate bringing on a new employee, expanding into a new market, you can kind of have a little bit more cost control on some of these IT models by simply paying per user. It's a pretty big trend. And the workforce, today's workforce and work environments are changing. I mean, for example, today I'm in an office in Fredericton at the university with my friends here at the Chamber of Commerce. None of us are working from our office today. We're all out in mobile, working from somewhere else for the next hour. And then after this, we're all going to go back to our offices or maybe a different office and work from something else. So, you know, at Rogers, we have this mantra where, you know, work is becoming a thing people do. It's not a place people go anymore. So IT and all these other things that I'm mentioning are enabling that. The next big thing in small business, especially and large, is productivity and collaboration platforms. There was a time that if a company wanted to have an internal messaging system and they wanted to get into video conferencing, it was a very expensive adventure. The results and the rewards were there, the cost savings were there from travel and that sort of thing, but that OpEx cost of getting into those type of platforms just prevented it from being a reasonable, a financially reasonable technology to employ in a company with 5 people or 20 people. Now, there's 2 things driving this. One is that it's no longer an option to be able to be productive with your company, regardless of where you sit. You have to have these technologies enabled, or you won't even find employees, because the employees coming in, which I'll touch on later, are demanding, you know, collaborative work environments, work from everywhere. So productivity and collaboration platforms, very, very important. And there's efficient ways now to work internally that matches the way your employees communicate externally. So today's communication outside of work is through social media channels. It's through instant messaging. So if people are communicating that way outside of your office, wouldn't you like to leverage the efficiencies of that style of communication inside the office? So there are some low-cost, no-cost solutions for small business out there to actually integrate things like an internal social media platform. There's a snowball of a company growing called Slack. It's amazing. It's free to start up. Internal, you know, an internal social media company. Most people's email inboxes are getting so clogged with internal one-line emails that stuff just has to be cleaned out so that your email is focused on revenue-generating activities for your company. We're supporting the folks that are out there generating revenue for you. A lot of this internal company stuff can be handled much quicker and easier through some type of internal social media platform like Slack. There's other platforms for collaboration and productivity out there that come to mind from a project management standpoint. Just because you're a company with 5 employees, or you might be a company with 100 employees, and you still may not be using some type of dedicated project management software. There's stuff out there like Basecamp, Microsoft SharePoint. There are many others I'm likely missing that can provide you with all this features and functionality. And again, you're paying back to that as a service model. You're paying per user license. So you're no longer having to buy a big set of servers and a big set of software to install this stuff into your company. You can get access to it on a per user basis. G Suite, Office 365, they offer some simple productivity platforms and some complex ones that anybody, a company of 1 person or 2 people, can get access to. And also, before I jump to the next slide, an important productivity platform that some people forget is, especially in small business, or we take for granted in some of the larger organizations, is the ability to share calendars within an organization, the ability to book out a boardroom, You may be an office with 6 or 7 people. You may have one salesperson representing your company in your localized market, but you can still look professional and book these things, and not just look professional, but have the ability to see what and collaborate with people with their schedules, not just their day-to-day work, by simply looking at Google Suite or Office 365 and having shared calendars so that your computer's calendar is synced with your mobile phone calendar and that sort of thing. Again, a lot of people take that for granted, but it's something it's still relevant in a lot of small business. A next big trend is, and again, I don't think this is news to anybody, but the rise of mobility as a communication platform of choice is, again, kind of ties into everything I just mentioned about people want to work from wherever they are, and work is a place or is something that people do. It's not something where people go. So the rise of using that mobile phone, that smartphone for almost everything is here. And just because you're a small or medium business doesn't mean you can't have access to it. For example, our CRM tool has a mobile application. My Salesforce that report to me and myself, we all have access to all of our customers' information at our fingertips. Doesn't matter where we are and where we're going. We have access to it simply because our mobile device allows us. And collaboration tools, like I mentioned in the second point, such as Office 365 or Google Suite or any of the other platforms, allows me to get in and edit a document on my mobile phone that's shared with other users quickly and easily, so I can get certain points of work done. Most mobile phones are for data consumption. They're really not good at that data creation, like that keyboard and laptop in front of you if you really got to type something important or if you're working on a large document or in certain things. But those quick hit communications to keep your the internal wheels moving and well oiled within your company, it all can be done through a mobile platform. The other big trend in the industry is the convergence of the desk phone and the mobile phone. A lot of people have migrated and said, I just use my mobile phone, but they still have a desk phone and a desk number and a desk voicemail and a desk out of office that says I'll be back in March, but it's still January because it hasn't been updated. So a lot of carriers, Rogers is one of them, are moving towards having a true single phone number. And whether you have a desk phone or a mobile phone, or maybe it's a soft phone on your computer, and you use a wired headset into your computer to call wherever your client base is or to support wherever your client base is, that can all be converged into truly one number that you manage and reaches you really anywhere as you are. And that's an important trend that we're seeing in the communication world. Is we're getting out of, even though I'm still guilty of it, having multiple phone numbers on a business card. You're starting to see people with one phone number, one point of contact, and not these multiple older systems combined with the new. It's truly changing the way people work that way. The other thing about mobility as a communication platform of choice is social media channels. Access to social media channels, content that's coming in about your industry, competitive knowledge, all that sort of stuff is at your fingertips with a mobile platform. It really wasn't there 5 to 10 years ago for the average user, and that's really changing the way people work. And also communication within the millennial workforce is through video and social, so that mobile platform is driving a lot of that. Another fantastic thing for, especially in the small business world, comes around marketing automation. There used to be a time where good marketing content or strategic marketing from a small company just didn't happen because you just couldn't afford it. You just didn't have the reach. And now that IT as a service that I mentioned earlier is driven the software as a service company, and a lot of software companies has evolved out of that over the last 10 years or more now. Companies like HubSpot come to mind, where you can, simply subscribe, link all your social channels, set up some type of content or some type of strategy within, your website optimization, automating messaging through various channels, and reaching your customers on a more strategic basis, especially in the small business world, is something business owners think about a lot, but never find the time to sit down and do. Or when they do, they have 8 hours or 4 hours today to do it, and then they might not be able to get back to it for a couple of months because, work and business is just going to pull you in so many other directions. So having some access to some of these tools, maybe even hiring a consultant to come in and get it set up for you, you can look as big as you want to look, regardless of the size of your company now. And those are things in technology you didn't have access to 5+ years ago. There's lots of other things out there. CRM is critical. When I meet with a company and consult with them on business efficiencies, I typically no longer ask if they have a CRM tool. I ask them what CRM tool they're using. And if they're not using a CRM tool, they'll quickly make one up, because they'll see how important it is to manage customer expectations and relations and have it recorded. But there's other little add-ons. There's the Salesforces, the Microsoft Dynamics, the Sugars, the Zohos out there in the CRM world, marketing or social marketing automation through Hootsuite. There's other mail campaign add-ons for all those social and CRM things like MailChimp and other things that, again, you can spend a little time on and get a lot of reward on as a small business. That's a trend that, again, nowadays, it's impossible to find out if a company has 6 employees or 100 employees if they've invested in some type of marketing automation and spent a little bit of time on this, which is, again, an amazing thing to have access to as a small or medium-sized business. Another trend that's not relatively, again, new, but now it's starting to evolve again, is the acceptance of mobile payments. So in the past, being able to accept credit cards on the fly was a simple little app you put on your iPhone or your Android, and away you go. Well, people are now paying with Apple Pay. They want to pay with PayPal Direct or Apple Wallet, PayPal Direct. They want to be able to be invoiced automatically, and companies should want to invoice automatically. The big thing about the acceptance of new payment methods, it also allows you to shorten your AR times as a company in your AR window. There's a dramatic difference in the comfort in your sleep at night if your company's AR went from 60 days down to 15 days because you implemented some type of mobile form, auto invoice at the door, whether you're a plumber, a construction worker, or you're in any type of service industry. If you can find a way to increase your cash flow by shortening your AR, it's very powerful because you're not putting any pressure on your lenders or leveraging assets. You're just simply getting more efficient at collecting. An example is the other day I actually had an issue with my refrigerator. Simple thing. It happens to everyone at some point, regardless of my desire just to simply go out and buy a new one, because it allows me to buy other things that are usually on sale at these big technology shops that sell everything. But I wanted to get somebody out to have a look at it. They showed up. They gave me a quote at the door through an application off of their iPad. They took a prepayment from me before they would come back. Instead of coming back, doing work, emailing me an invoice, chasing me and hoping and praying that I'm going to pay them in a reasonable amount of time, they actually collected my fee before they rolled the truck out again to come out and repair my refrigerator. And that may sound simple, but it's so powerful to a small company trying to manage cash flow and trying to survive. So this technology trend is definitely coming, and it's moving again to accept other payments outside of Visa or MasterCard and sometimes Amex. The banks are doing a really good job making it easy for people with their mobile their payment applications and integration. But there's also people out there like First Data merchants, services, and those groups that have some pretty good products that you should really look into for your business to help enable this, not just with some application forms, but right into the payment processing tools that you use. And again, another technology trend that's kind of related to everything. It's the as a service model. In IT, again, you can subscribe to anything as a service. Installing servers at your office and putting customer information on a box that sits in your communication closet is no longer it's almost no longer an acceptable way to house customer data. It's not backed up, it's not secure, and if it goes down, everything goes down. So the model has moved to buying servers as a service. This is what the buzzword cloud is getting pretty old of a buzzword, but you no longer have to buy a server, you buy a subscription to a server. And you don't have to worry about a backup service working or figuring out how to back up your data. You subscribe to backup as a service. You don't have to worry about the security. Well, you do have to worry about security. I'll touch that in a second. But you don't have to worry about the day-to-day management of that server to make sure it's being updated and it's patched, and when you have new employees onboarding or offboarding, that all that stuff is done. You subscribe to that as a service. It's becoming common with all the carriers, and a lot of IT providers are providing a converged as a service model where they will match you with a carrier or an infrastructure as a service provider, and they will help manage it and report back to you and kind of be your virtual CIO or CTO. It's enabling a lot of, or it's breaking a lot of boundaries. The IT journey from a small company to a medium company, it's always this tipping point of when do I start making IT something I invest in and not a cost center in my business. And these new subscription models kind of enable you to always look at it as an investment, a part of your strategy, a part of the way you work day to day. And the things that you have in your offices today that you're running your IT systems on don't necessarily have to completely disappear. There's also an integration journey here that I believe all the carriers, Rogers, we focus on this a lot, where we can take the accounting software that you have today, the specialized application that you have today, all these things that are related to your business, and we can take them off of those on-premise devices and move them into a data center and actually create what's commonly referred to as a private cloud or a hybrid cloud for you, so that we can kind of tippy-toe step into this integration. It doesn't mean you don't need IT support anymore. It just means that the infrastructure running your IT is much more reliable, and maybe it frees up some time on those resources that are managing those things for your company to maybe manage some things that'll drive revenue and not keep the lights on. And again, this is a simple thing, really dedicated to small business, but there's essentially an app out there for everything and everyone. So the trend now in small businesses, there's not a common platform for accounting. There's not a common platform for CRM. There's actually a lot more competition in the market than there used to be. The big guys that had the ability to reach everyone with a marketing strategy to get their brand out there, or that were big enough to get a good VAR program in place, kind of won the majority of the business. Now, a company with 4 or 5 people can start up wherever, um, and kind of push through and offer a good product that's kind of tweaked to, work a little bit better for your business and your industry segment. Um, you don't have to buy the 1 or 2 options that are out there. Um, Again, whether it's managing expenses, payroll, all these sort of things. From a financial perspective, there are a couple that I wrote down this morning here that I could remember off the top of my head. There's Xero, FreshBooks, QuickBooks is online now, Sage is online, there's Zoho Books, there's Dynamic GP online, all just to manage finances and inventory, all things that you can get access to and scale from 1 to 3,000 to 10,000 employees. So the access to these things are there, makes it easy for small business. The one thing you don't want to do is, if you're a small business, is because there's so much choice out there, get stuck in some type of analysis paralysis, worried that you're not buying the right one, or if there's one that's better. Have a look, go with your gut, pick one, adopt it, and save yourself some time and money through some of that automation. Again, this is the pay per drip type of model. There was a time where if you wanted, and not a long time ago, 5 years ago or less, if you wanted a decent accounting platform, you'd likely be looking to move from QuickBooks up into maybe the next level if you're a medium or large size business doing a couple $1 million worth of revenue. You'd be at the stage where you're considering going to Sage 300 or Microsoft Dynamics or something else. The SAPs and stuff are usually like the next level when you start getting over 1,000 plus or even more. And the upfront costs for those things were tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of investment in consulting and setup and software. Now it's how many users need access to the system, and do you want us to back up your database daily, weekly, or monthly, and here's your cost per user that's accessing the system. And away you go. So it's a much easier access, and you have to invest a little bit of time to get comfortable with 1 or 2. Adopt the way they do it. Don't try to customize these things too much, because the support becomes harder after the fact. But there's something out there for everyone, and it'll make your life easier. Security. So another big thing that we're seeing, well, that's getting a lot more media. It's been around for a little bit, but the security threats and security is a real thing in IT. There's a great website if you ever want to see how many denial of service attacks that are occurring at one time. There's lots of websites, but there's digitalattackmap.com if you're ever bored and you want to see something that looks like a video game from the late 80s. But it's actually there's some mapping software out there that'll actually show you how many virtual denial of service attacks that are going on at any given point in the world, large enough to record. The smaller ones, the ransomwares and the other more antivirus related or phishing related type of attacks, the majority of those are not reported because people and companies don't want the media attention. But these are real things. And your advantage as a business today versus maybe a business 5 or 6 years ago or 10 years ago is that you can get help, and you don't have to pay massive amounts of dollars for security-related equipment to show up at your office in boxes. Hire somebody from a professional services engagement to set it up, and then nobody touches it again for a couple of years until it's outdated. You can subscribe again to some of these security services, as a service, by consulting with pretty much all the carriers and a lot of IT companies that are out there. They can, whether you're a small business or a large, they can move you to some secure platforms for storing your data. They can look at making sure you have a secure environment at your office. A service that's keeping our teams really busy at Rogers is our Wi-Fi as a service. It sounds like a simple thing, but Wi-Fi is a gateway, a physical gateway to your internal network. And if it's not properly managed or if it's not keeping up with the capacity demands of all these software platforms moving outside of the office and no longer being on your internal network. If it's not keeping up, it's you're gonna cause problems and you're gonna have issues. If your IT platform isn't backed up, or if your personal the protected data that you have that's important to your company's every day is not protected and backed up, if somebody clicks on that email that says your email administrator has asked you to reset your password, please click this link, then that can open up a window into your data, and you can start getting some type of ransomware threats from people all over the world saying, give me $10,000 and I'll give you back your data, because they got on your network, they seen that you didn't have any backup or security on it, and they took it and removed it, and now they want to charge you for it through some ransomware or something. So these things are really happening, and most people get pretty comfortable and they feel that they're kind of in the zebra effect, where if you're a zebra and you're in the flock, you're likely going to be safe, and that is a lot of the times true. But every time I turn on Discovery Channel, I see a lion eating a zebra, and so you want to make sure that you're not that zebra on TV that didn't make it or wasn't safe within the flock. So again, asking a few questions, consulting with a few people to make sure that even internally, maybe you need a CTO as a service because your company's growing, and you want to consult with somebody to make sure not just your perimeter is protected, which is your firewalls and all that sort of thing, but make sure your PCs are protected, they're secure, and your staff are educated about what is an email from our internal systems and what isn't, what to do with what devices to put on your internal network that have servers connected to it, and what devices that your staff bring in that are personal devices that their kids use or whatever that likely could be infected. So we want to make sure that we protect all that stuff. A lot of it's through education, but these services are now easily accessible to you through many models that are out there. So take all that in mind. Again, it's good just to maybe even do a little research. You don't have to be a security expert. It always makes people a little intimidated because technology is moving so fast, and security seems like it's the geek world of technology, like that next level of understanding. But security can be simply making sure that you have a policy in your company that all the PCs have some type of control on them to not let people install whatever they want, making sure they're updated, making sure your servers are updated, making sure your antivirus software is updated on a regular basis, and that someone's reporting to you as a business owner that these things are done. If you're outsourcing this work and those things aren't happening, you should ask a few more questions. Sometimes just some what gets inspected becomes expected. So when it comes to managing your IT infrastructure, if there's things that you don't know, ask questions, make sure it's being done, and you can get yourself up to scuff when it comes to security. Another trend big in that's really great outside of that doom and gloom of security is more on the digital advertising. So we talk more about automation and CRM and knowing your customers and getting messages to your customers during their buying cycles to make sure they come back to you. And whether you're a car dealership or a business that sells software, that stuff is great. But actually advertising and marketing your company is a new age. It's a new age out there for this, and there's access to so much content and so many resources to create advertisements, videos, social campaigns, all this sort of stuff to market your company and to get advertising. Um, I'll tell you, it's a completely new world. There's a few services out there in the Envanto market, Fiverr. Those two sites alone can allow you to take your logo and get a little digital video created that looks like you might have paid an agency, you know, $10,000 for it, but now maybe it costs you $100 or $15 sometimes even. Um, these are markets that are out there that allow you to, or that create well done videos, well done logo intros and reveals and all these other things, and they allow you to, you know, place your logo in there and take access to this content and, you know, own all the royalties and all the things to the videos and that sort of thing. And there may be 10 other or 20 other companies around the globe that's using the very same thing, but localized in your market, there's likely no one even close that's done it. So it allows you to get very professional access to some very professional content or fun content or any type of professional service, so writing, website, search engine optimization, Google AdWords, Facebook ads, all these things. So you can use these markets to create things about your company, and you can push them all out on some low-end budgets, like sub $1,000 now or less. You can create an intro video or one of these whiteboard videos about what it is that you do and why you're better than your competition, or what's the value to you or your relationships with your customers. And you can get that out to thousands of people without having to run an ad in any type of print, or you can combine your print ad with these things in the background. So you've kind of got a completely new marketable service that you can go and take and find new customers in ways that, you know, you just didn't have access to before for localized budgets. So that's very, very powerful. The other thing that is coming up in this world is there are a lot of consultants out there that have worked at a big agency for years, and are now doing type of work on the side that you can get access to at a relatively affordable cost. So not only is the technology trend here, all these other sites, if it's still something that's intimidating to you, I'm finding this market now has so many resources in each regionalized in each local market, but if it's not in your local market, it no longer matters. So you can get an agency or an independent contractor on Fiverr who might be setting in Germany to help you on a social media campaign, or they might be in you know, Brazil, but they've done social campaigns for a bunch of construction companies and marketing, advertising campaigns. So they can kind of take your content, flow it through, and it's something you run here for pennies on the dollar. Well, you know, access to that type of world reach just is again opening up so many doors for a business of 5 people, a business of 100 people, looking like a global powerhouse on a world stage. So make sure that you look into some of those things and maximize your potential there. And I won't say lastly, but one of the last things I'm going to talk about today that I consider a technology trend is simply the employee base and employee expectations of where the workforce and the office expectations of integration and collaboration are going today. You know, by 2020, half of the workforce are going to be out of this millennial group that we hear a lot about, and by then it'll be the 40s and under, or something to that effect. And they've grown up in a different world. So the traditional model of hiring an employee is taking somebody, getting them a computer, setting them at their desk, giving them some manuals or something to read, introducing everybody up into the office, and kind of letting them get integrated and figure it out. But today's worker coming in is not expecting to be put in a seat and being told to be productive. They want to move around. They want the ability to work wherever. They might have just come from some of these newer, universities the universities are now pushing to more collaborative work and learn models, and that's kind of flowing into the workforce. So people coming out of university the last 5 or 10 years are expecting to be able to take their work as they took their classroom, wherever they go, work from wherever. Working from home is no longer one of those funny things where so-and-so is actually working from home today. The flexibility offering from companies today is important if you're going to find talent. And it's putting pressure on business owners to adapt as well, who may be stuck in the static technology trends of before. But today, the people you're going to hire want to be able to access your systems on their iPad while they're at the hockey rink at 2 o'clock on a Thursday afternoon, watching their kids play hockey, because it's the only time they can get ice time. And they don't want to take a half-a-day vacation for it, because they want to be online and they want to be connected, and they can collaborate there just as much as they can in the office. And that's where the workforce is going. So if you want to compete and have the top employees so that you can deliver the best services or the best experience to your customers, you, as an entrepreneur, have to adapt to that type of model as well. So that's a big technology trend. It kind of combines everything I talked about today and kind of slammed it all into one. But it's what's driving everything, and it's an adaptation of what universities and the models of learning has pushed through, and it's now getting into the workforce. Effective or not effective, it's probably a good debate with great arguments on each side, but it's real and it's happening. So if you're a business owner, you have to adapt to it, or you simply won't be able to hire anybody that's in the millennial group, and your business will slowly start to, your market share and your market segment that you feel comfortable with is going to adapt to the same age as your employees, and you'll kind of pigeonhole yourself. So, very important thing. Comfort is the enemy of growth. So, if you're comfortable in how your technology is at your office today, have a look at what's out there and get a little uncomfortable, and when you grow, your company will. So those are the some of the 10 technology trends that we're seeing that we wanted to talk about today. Again, up here, mugshot of myself. Again, I'm the senior manager for Rogers Enterprise Business. I cover Atlantic Canada, and manage teams that manage public sector, large enterprise, and support our other business units and small and medium business. And we've got some of our local representation here that kind of cover the Fredericton and surrounding area. We have Walter. He's here whenever you need to get access to him. His contact information's there. Jeff Reynolds. He kind of manages our large and public sector accounts, but you can always reach out to Walter and Jeff. And Jeff number 2, just simply based on tenure, is Jeff Bader, and he's managing our dealer and small and mid-market teams here as well in the province and in Atlantic. And you can always get access to him for any type of questions or anything that you can come up with that might be related to your business. You might just simply want an overall assessment so that you can start your business planning for 2018, 2019, and where you want to go. These are the guys here locally that you can call from a Rogers perspective to get some assistance. A quick overview of what Rogers does in the community is we're not the experts of everything. We have a lot of partners in region that we do a lot of work with and bring in to make sure that we have the right expert in place to help you with whatever your need is. We're always here to help. A lot of people don't know that Rogers is in the business of everything I've talked about today. Hopefully you've learned a little bit about business and a little bit about Rogers here at the tail end. And before I end, one thing that's also you guys can take advantage of is we here at Rogers have partnered with the Chamber to provide some significant discount and value to members throughout 2017. So the list of gentlemen that I just talked about earlier, you can contact them, and simply because you're a member of the Chamber, you can get access to one of our corporate discount plans. So if you're considering a technology switch or upgrade or anything, reach out. If there's value, additional value we can bring because you're a Chamber member, we want to take care of our Chamber members in Fredericton. So this is an offer that's out there to you guys to take advantage of. So I'm gonna hand the mic back. I appreciate your time today, and thanks again.
This is Krista Ross again from the Chamber, and I just want to say thank you so much, Robin, for a great presentation. We really enjoyed it. We learned a lot. I think our members are going to take a lot from this, and we will be adding it to our website so that people can go back and refer to the information. So just to say thank you, Robin, for your time and expertise, we are going to be making a donation in your name to the Chamber of Commerce Scholarship Fund. I want to thank Rogers for being a great corporate partner of the Chamber. They support and sponsor us on a lot of different levels, and we really appreciate that. And also really want to thank and acknowledge the University of Fredericton, who sponsors our Lunch and Learn webinar series and hosts us. So thank you, Robin. Thank you, University of Fredericton. Thank you, Rogers. And thank you all, Chamber members, for attending and participating. Have a great day.